Today, we're going to tell you the story of the rise to power of one of the most unrepeatable geniuses and wonders of history, Napoleon Bonaparte. But before that, we need to give you an introduction to the French Revolution so that you can get to know more about Napoleon's historical environment. The French Revolution, which took place from 1789 to 1799, was a period of radical social and political upheaval in France. It was driven by a variety of factors, including economic hardships, social inequality, and widespread discontent with the monarchy. The revolution began with the storming of the Bastille, a symbol of royal authority, and was marked by a series of revolutionary events and reforms. The monarchy was abolished, and France experienced a shift from an absolute monarchy to a republic. The revolutionaries aimed to establish principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity. The revolution witnessed the rise of political factions, such as the Jacobins, who implemented radical policies and executed King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette. The Reign of Terror, led by Maximilien Robespierre, resulted in numerous executions and an atmosphere of fear. Between 1793 and 1794, Robespierre's France guillotined and summarily executed thousands of potential political opponents before the orchestrator himself lost his head in July 1794. The fall of Robespierre ushered in a new, more conservative form of government known as the Directory. The Directory purged the former leader's radical supporters, the Jacobins, and resorted to extreme repression to keep the country under Parisian control. The Directory consisted of a 5-member executive committee known as the Directory Council, along with 2 parliamentary chambers. However, the Directory faced numerous challenges and struggles during its brief existence. The period of the Directory was marked by political corruption, economic instability, and military setbacks. The government struggled to address the country's economic issues, including inflation, food shortages, and rising public debt. There were also frequent political conflicts and power struggles within the Directory itself. In an effort to stabilize the situation, the Directory pursued a policy of military expansion, seeking to spread the ideals of the revolution across Europe. However, this led to mixed results on the battlefield, with both victories and defeats. The internal disasters and the numerous riots and wars that took place during the rule of the Directory and the inability of the Directory to solve the problems of the people caused the people to strongly hate this delegation and the 1795 Constitution. And it was during this time that a young general named Napoleon Bonaparte emerged during the Revolutionary Wars and became the hope of the French people. Napoleon Bonaparte was born in Corsica in 1769 and showed exceptional military talent from a young age. He quickly rose through the ranks of the French military during the tumultuous years of the French Revolution. Napoleon Bonaparte was born on August 15, 1769 in Corsica, a French-controlled island in the Mediterranean. He came from a relatively modest noble family and received a solid education, which allowed him to excel academically. In 1784, at the age of 15, Napoleon left Corsica to study at the prestigious École Militaire in mainland France. He trained as an artillery officer and demonstrated exceptional military skills. With the outbreak of the French Revolution in 1789, Napoleon's career and political aspirations were set in motion. During the early years of the revolution, Napoleon quickly rose through the ranks of the French military. In 1793, he played a crucial role in the recapture of the city of Toulon from royalist forces, earning him recognition and promotion to brigadier general. In 1796, Napoleon was appointed as the commander of the French army in Italy. His military campaigns in Italy were marked by tactical brilliance and strategic victories against Austrian and Italian forces. These successes not only expanded French territories, but also brought Napoleon considerable fame and influence. In 1798, Napoleon launched a military expedition to Egypt and the Middle East, seeking to disrupt British trade routes and establish French dominance in the region. The campaign, while initially successful, ultimately ended in failure due to a combination of military setbacks and the British naval victory at the Battle of the Nile. During the campaign to Egypt, Napoleon was informed about the internal situation of France and Europe through newspapers and messages that reached him, and in this way, he learned about the defeat of France in the War of the Second Coalition. On August 24, 1799, he took advantage of the temporary absence of British ships on the coast of France and returned to France without any orders. Napoleon's return brought celebration and joy to the French people, and he was welcomed like a conqueror. The Directory discussed Bonaparte's desertion, but was too weak to punish him. Napoleon, together with Emmanuel Joseph Sieyès, a member of the five-man ruling directors, and several ministers, including Talleyrand, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, as well as Napoleon's brother Lucien Bonaparte, who was the president of the Council of 500, planned a coup to change the constitution and remove the Directory. On the morning of November 9, 1799, Napoleon addressed the Council of Ancients, one of the two parliamentary chambers, and presented a plan to address the country's crises. He argued that the government needed reforms and a new constitution to restore stability. However, later that day, members of the Council of 500, the other parliamentary chamber, opposed Napoleon's plan and accused him of seeking dictatorial power. Chaos ensued as the deputies shouted and threatened him. Sensing the situation was getting out of control, Napoleon left the assembly, and his supporters feared the coup might fail. However, Napoleon's brother Lucien, who was the president of the Council of 500, intervened. He declared that the assembly was dissolved and ordered troops to remove the unruly deputies. This action cleared the way for Napoleon's supporters to regroup and seize power. When the Council of Ancients reconvened later that evening, they appointed Napoleon as one of the three provisional consuls, along with Sieyès and Ducos. This marked the end of the Directory and the establishment of the consulate. Over the following days, Napoleon consolidated his power by purging political opponents, reorganizing the government, and drafting a new constitution. In 1800, he was officially appointed as the first consul, effectively becoming the leader of France. During the consulate period, Napoleon Bonaparte solidified his grip on power and implemented a series of significant reforms that transformed France. As the first consul, Napoleon aimed to restore stability and consolidate his authority. He established a new government structure with himself as the dominant figure. While the consulate maintained republican forms, Napoleon effectively held dictatorial power. Napoleon focused on stabilizing the economy, which had been ravaged by years of revolutionary turmoil and war. He implemented economic reforms, including the establishment of the Bank of France, which stabilized the currency and promoted economic growth. He also introduced measures to regulate trade, improve infrastructure, and support industry. In 1800, Napoleon's military genius was on display once again when he led the French army to victory against the Austrians at the Battle of Marengo. This victory solidified his position and showcased his military prowess. Napoleon recognized the need to establish a new legal framework for France. In 1804, he introduced the Napoleonic Code, also known as the Civil Code. This comprehensive legal system standardized laws across the country, promoting equality before the law, property rights, and religious tolerance. The Napoleonic Code had a lasting impact and served as a model for legal systems in many other countries. Napoleon also pursued a series of diplomatic endeavors. He negotiated the Peace of Amiens in 1802, which brought a temporary halt to the hostilities between France and Britain. However, the peace was short-lived, and war resumed between the two powers in 1803. In 1802, Napoleon was appointed consul for life, further consolidating his authority. He also took steps to ensure his family's political influence by arranging strategic marriages for his siblings and relatives across Europe. Furthermore, Napoleon embarked on a series of administrative reforms aimed at centralizing power and streamlining governance. He reorganized the local government, established a system of prefects to oversee regional administration, and introduced merit-based appointments to government positions. In 1804, Napoleon took a crucial step by convening an assembly of notables known as the Tribunate and the legislative body. These assemblies were composed of hand-picked individuals who were loyal to Napoleon. They were presented with the proposal to establish an empire, and they willingly endorsed it. On May 18, 1804, the Senate proclaimed Napoleon Bonaparte as Emperor of the French. This proclamation was supported by the overwhelming majority of the Senate, which was largely composed of Napoleon's loyalists. To further legitimize his imperial title, Napoleon orchestrated an elaborate coronation ceremony at Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris on December 2, 1804. During the ceremony, he crowned himself as emperor, symbolically showing his authority and signaling a break from the republican ideals of the French Revolution. Moreover, Napoleon sought to solidify his position by establishing a new nobility known as the Napoleonic nobility. He granted titles and honors to loyal supporters, military officers, and individuals who had contributed to his rise to power. This move helped to secure the support of influential individuals across French society. Becoming emperor not only granted Napoleon immense power and prestige, but also allowed him to pursue his ambitions of expanding French influence and control across Europe. He embarked on a series of military campaigns known as the Napoleonic Wars, which reshaped the political map of Europe and established France as a dominant power on the continent. Through his unwavering determination, indomitable spirit, and unparalleled strategic brilliance, Napoleon Bonaparte ascended to the zenith of power in France, his name etched in the annals of history as a testament to his relentless pursuit of greatness and his innate mastery of leadership. Soon, we will visit you again with the story of Napoleon's wars and his military genius, so please subscribe to our channel.